Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the European Racing Series Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. I'm Ben Rwaggy McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk is the awesome David Fossetti Time Tate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Netherlands, what do you think?
I like it. I actually really like it.
Okay.
I know that a lot of people don't like this circuit. A lot of people say that it's really difficult to overtake on. And I think to an extent, yeah, I agree with them. I think it is pretty difficult to overtake, but not impossible. And you can make it in so many different areas that I think it's now down to understanding your opponent when you're following them, trying to figure out where is their weakness, and then exploit it, and then go for it.
Glad we agree, because I absolutely love it. It's not a track I'm particularly good at, but I do really like it.
Good. Good. I'm glad we agree on something for once.
Yeah, exactly. I like the sort of the way the corners are cambered. It kind of allows you sort of two lines. You can go around the outside and get a better run out the corner, or you can go inside and obviously take the corner quicker. So I don't necessarily agree with the fact that it's hard to overtake here.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean,
yeah,
I personally think it's really not that difficult. I mean, the areas you don't want to be overtaking are pretty much if you don't do it into turn one, you don't really want to do it into the awkward little small chicane, if you want to call it that, up left and then down right again. The hairpin, or the long sweepy left-hander banked corner, you can do. But then after that, you don't want to overtake again until you get into Sector 2, and that's pretty much the only place that is really viable to do so. We've got a lot of traffic actually just coming into Sector 2. You can see, oh, Rainbow very nearly clips Vexit there. You wouldn't believe they were teammates the way that they were going side by side through that.
Yeah, speaking of Rainbow, I'm going to go straight in and say he is my call for winning this race.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think based on the test race we ran here before the season started, I think he's the one that won it. I think he was run quite closely by Chan. So I think my top three for qualifying is going to be Chan, Rainbow, Bottas gang.
Not even putting Vexit in that top three at all. Ooh, Jakbo getting a disqualification for blocking the pit lane.
He's spun on the exit. No, on the exit of turn one. You can jump forward with him. You can't anymore, but yeah, he was on the exit of turn one.
It looked like he just spun the rears a bit, parked it, and then there was too many cars there that he couldn't move, so... Feels sad for him, but it is what it is. He will have to start at the back of the grid, but he will get a free choice of tyres he could take into the race with him, and then the strategy call is all his. And I think, to be honest, this is a circuit where the strategy is actually more important than your natural racecraft. Your race pace needs to still be really good and consistent, that's for sure, but it doesn't necessarily matter too much about how good you are at overtaking, because, you know, some people do find it difficult here. If you can overtake, then, you know, you're one of the few that can, and that makes you a step above the rest.
Yeah, I mean, obviously turn one's going to be that main overtaking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just going to have to risk it, go for a low downforce setup. But another factor I think is going to be penalties. That penultimate corner before the long banked right-hander onto the straight. That's going to... I mean, I find it particularly hard. I don't know about these guys, as Brownie goes P1 now. Actually, very, very close at the top. And Dennis getting himself right in the mix there, P3. Good job by him.
We are looking to see a sort of 108.5, maybe a 108.6 as the sort of times to beat for Paul. That is... It's actually quite easy to be quick on this circuit, but it only takes one mistake to really lose all that time. As we're seeing Bottas going, well, there you go. He's already put that time and raised the bar. That is crazy amounts of time improvement.
So you didn't hear that early prediction I made, no?
You didn't say Bottas gang, did you?
Yeah, it was Bottas gang P1, it was Chan P2, and Brownie P3, right?
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty sure I remember you saying that Rainbow was going to win.
I think Chat will back me up.
Huh? I think Chat will call you out, mate, if I'm going to be honest.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm cheating a little bit now because I've seen some of the times that are on there. I did have Bottas gang in my top three. Did I have him Paul? I'm going to be honest, no. I would have put Vexit P1. He's honestly impressed me over the last few races. I think he's got a lot of talent, a lot of skill that he's still unlocking as he goes. He's a really nice guy too, so we'll see what he can deliver later on. But yeah, for me it would have been a Vexit P1, Bottas Gang P2, and a P3. I would have gone to I don't know, maybe Brownie.
Yeah, that's fair. And what I didn't expect is such a tightly packed field. Obviously taking Bottas Gang out of the equation, and Chan to some extent, super tight for that final third spot.
Yeah, it's all pretty tight across the rest of the field as well. Brownie, same P3, and then the gap's really close to him, and the next few drivers right the way down to P8. I mean, even P9's only 2/10 away. It's really sort of a very and it's only going to get closer as this session goes on. As they start to get more and more comfortable with the track, they've revised themselves as to, I made a mistake here, I made a mistake there. All I have to do is fix these very minor issues, and then suddenly you're right up there. I think we're going to be seeing less than a tenth between the top three.
Yep, that's probably fair. I mean, they're going to have to catch up with Bottas Gang first. What a lap he did.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, there are the drivers in the field to do it. Absolutely. And the fact that I'm seeing people like, no, it's no disrespect to Dennis, but P7, I think, I think that's a little bit higher than where he would expect to be fair. Although it is his home Grand Prix, maybe he practices it more, I don't know. But I imagine, especially with Copy and Danico still to come out, that he's going to get pushed down a bit and the bar is going to get raised slightly.
Well, chat, you've heard our predictions. Now we want to hear yours. Get in the chat the 1, 2, 3 that you've got in your mind for the end of qualifying as Verstappen has crashed. That was a severe mistake made from the AlphaTauri driver. He is now not going to get a time on the board at all, and he will start right at the back of the grid alongside Jacobo.
That's very unfortunate. Still yet to get a lap in. And yeah, I mean, I don't see how he's done that on the track. I saw he was sort of halfway down the DRS straight almost.
I can only imagine he clipped the inside curb, because if you touch that, it's going to destabilize you without a doubt. And if you do clip that and it destabilizes you, the only way I can imagine he then flung off to the right was if he tried to counter steer it, and it just then carried the momentum all the way out there. But he would have had to carry a lot of pace to have an impact that hard that took him out there. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah. Obviously not allowed to jump on board with people that have already crashed, so I couldn't actually see where he ended up myself. But do you want to follow someone around? You want to pick a car and follow him around?
Well, we've got a racing point, which is Bottas Gang, so we'll go on board with him as he's currently our pole sitter. Let's see how he does then on the home straight. DRS wing wide open, a charge right the way up towards turn 1. You want to get over to the left-hand side. You want to brake when you see the shadow in the middle, right there. Get yourself right down the gears, gear 2, and then turn it in and upshift very quickly to gear 3 and 4. And get up into the awkward little chicane. You want to run quite wide, but don't go too difficult into it, because you will overshoot, and then that will cause you to lose a lot of time on the exit as Bottas Gang nearly loses the back end, but he's kept it very much under control. I think this is going to be a slight improvement, but only just. Coming up to the long sweepy right-hander, no brake, just a downshift or 2, and clip the inside curve, run wide, but make sure you get the acceleration just right. Don't clip the exit curve there, but you want to cut that one on the inside just right. Another one, cut this a bit more, get the exit crisp and clean. Is so easy to lose the rear, and even through here, because you've got to get right up to the curb without touching it, and then run off the back end, and that was a bit too extra. And this is what I was about to say when it came to what you were mentioning regarding Dennis. Dennis is up there with a 109.2. He was P7 at the time when you were talking about him. My concern is he has always struggled with his back end in these cars. He does not seem to be able to keep the back end from stepping. It is a simple fix, and it's something I had issues with too, but it's just turn the diff up. Turn the diff right up. If you have to go to 100%, you have to go to 100%, but it does make it so your back end is a lot more stable. It means you'll manage your tires a lot longer, and it just gives you the ability to have the confidence in the car.
Fair enough. I tend to go the opposite way. I turn it down if I'm struggling. Well, I don't know, different strokes for different folks, I guess, but Vexit, kind of living up to your expectations now. Up into P2, 108.7. I did see Chan, who was improving through his first sector, but he's ended up in the pits now, so lost some time somewhere. And now Kartak and Vexit having some sort of drag race down the second DRS straight.
We have Hazard, who's done a lap. I think he's I think he's trying to commit to this lap as well. He looked a bit slow there. He was very late to flick back to mode 2 on the ERS. I'm not even sure why he turned it down, to be truthfully honest. That will have definitely cost him a bit of time on the exit. Clipping that curve just right. Yeah, I mean, he's already done a 109.5, so he's only going to move himself to around P10, P11 territory. And that's unless he gets an improvement in the final sector.
A little bit of tail kicking out there, but it looks pretty neat and tidy, all in all. Get a better idea. 4 tenths up now, 4.27. He's got 2 more corners to go, and we're looking at potentially around P7 or 8 now for Hazard, unless he improves in this final sector. Again, very neat and tidy. And that's a little bit of a tough one as well. In the wet, that final corner. And yeah, wow, great lap by him. That final corner in the wet, that is a really, really scary one. You can do it flat, but you've got to use all the track. So, if, and cross fingers, there is a wet race, because it's been quite a while since we've had one.
Well,
that will
I can disappoint you if you want.
Well, go on then.
I've had the weather report, light cloud all weekend.
Ooh, yes. Love a bit of light cloud. The most boring weather of all, you know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it also then allows the strategy to be played, you know. I mean, the one thing I do like when it comes to F1 is that diversity in weather conditions, where it forces the drivers to have to react. And it kind of just... every single team just has to throw the playbook out, because there's no way you can read that situation. It's just feel the track, look at what your drivers are doing, and try to understand, have I still got grip on these tires? Yes, no, okay, I don't, so I better get myself back into the pits and switch over to these tires and then go out onto the track. But if you time it wrong, it can cost you so much time. As Rainbow jumps up to P3, he's a 108.744, but he's still 400ths of a second away from his teammate, and still 2/10 clear almost of Bottas gang.
Yeah, Bottas gang as well on an outlap, so potential to and Vexit and Bottas gang almost coming together. They're gonna go across the finish line. Vexit's gonna get one hell of a slipstream, but he's got to be careful he doesn't catch him too quickly. Yeah. This could be very interesting. Vexit almost actually on the outlap, slamming into the back of Bottas gang. He had to slam on the brakes.
You might be desynced.
Oh, okay.
Where is Bottas gang for you?
Going through the big long left-hander.
Which long left-hander? As in after like turn 4 or whatever?
Yeah.
He's now running up to the right.
Yeah,
and then going downhill long fast right-hander.
Yes.
And where's Vexit for you?
Just behind him.
Okay, then Vexit's desync for you.
Okay.
Because Vexit is actually just right ahead of him now. There he goes, just got out of the way. So Bottas gang is nicely. You might want to leave and rejoin and then see if that fixes the issue.
I'll we'll try that. Yeah.
I'll even check you a nice little invite.
I think I've got one. Actually. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right, Bottas gang obviously has got the time set on pole for now, and he's coming around the final corner with hopefully an improvement for him. A 108.592 to beat. Doesn't matter too much if he doesn't, because I think no one else is going to get anywhere near him, and it is just slightly improved. I mean, it was already a very fast time. We're talking almost the world record times in time trial, for example. But a 108.527 is a fantastic start for him. Can anybody actually get near him? Vexit was about 2/10 away previously, or 1/10.5, sorry. He's now almost fully 2/10 away. And we are in the pits for a lot of the drivers. 2 Ferraris coming down the back straight. That is Fragioco and Dennis, both of which have just dipped into the pits.
Yep. And Brownie as well dipping into the pits. I am riding on board with him as the amazing commentator I am. I've got multiple streams open. So Brownie tried another hot lap. Hasn't worked out for him. He's got time for another one, but he is sitting down in P5 right now. And I just have the feeling that, you know, he's capable of a lot more than that, because there is a fair gap.
I mean, I thought it was only going to be the top 3 that are within 1/10 of each other, but I mean, from P2 down to P6, as Danico has just put himself right there in P2. You know, this honestly is looking to be such a fantastic Grand Prix, because it's not a DRS fest at all, but it is when it comes to the overtake. Like, the whole home straight is going to be the main area to overtake. Into turn 1, you want to be past them ideally before you get to it, but if you can get the inside through turn 1, you've almost guaranteed to have got that corner, that overtake locked in. Chan out to improve. 108.925 right now. He needs 4 tenths and a bit if he wants to take pole position.
Well, I can tell you at the end of Sector 1, he's got half a tenth, so not enough so far.
So we'll say I'm looking at the end of that, so plenty of room to be improved. I just don't know where you can find it. That's the thing. It's such a...
It's a short track.
Yeah.
It's a very short track. Doesn't seem it though, actually. It kind of feels like quite a long lap. And then you look at the board and it's like, ooh, 108. Where did that go?
Yeah.
I can tell you now he's got a purple Sector 2.
Oh! And a back end step out. And that's a mistake made from Chan into the wall. But he has kept his car running. He's going to have to stay out of the way of, I believe that is Hazard. Back into the pits more likely for him. Otherwise, those tyres are going to be dead coming into this race.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat what he said. Purple Sector 2. Drops it. And that is the nature of Zandvoort, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is... You're constantly on a knife edge with the rear grip, I find. But you're also constantly going through these medium speed corners where you need the rear to kind of be a little bit loose to give you that turn in. So it is who can work those fine margins and who can have that actual perfect setup and can make the setup work who's going to profit here. And, you know, it looks like Bottas can.
Yeah, I mean, he looks very cozy in P1 right now. It's very much a Lewis Hamilton to Bottas himself in the official F1. The gap that they tend to have is around about a tenth or two, usually. I don't know how anybody can get up there, to be truthful. There's going to need to be a mistake from Bottas going in the race for them to be able to close in, because it just looks like he's just going to run off.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you wouldn't bring Hamilton up, to be honest. But,
He's your best friend, isn't he?
if you have to, I suppose. Not my best friend. Just FYI.
Okay, well, Hazard is coming around the final corner, so he's going to hopefully take your mind off it, although he is in that Mercedes. Coming up to the line then, it is much slower, but that's because he is now starting his hot lap. We'll see, he's left it down to... I mean, I don't think this is wise for him to do what he's doing. He's got to take his losses here. I think you're at a point where you go, okay, well, I'm not on brand spanking new softs. The soft tyres will disintegrate on this circuit. We are looking at a soft hards as being the optimum strategy. I have actually done a league race here not that long ago. The medium tyres just don't have anything in comparison to the hards. You'd have thought, well, with the softer compound, they should be faster. And to an extent, they are, but it's like 2, maybe 3 tenths a lap faster. It's not like it usually is, where it's 7, 8 tenths a lap faster. And the hards will obviously last way longer. So, you know, it makes more sense, in my opinion, to just go soft hards, do you one lap. If you qualify outside the top 10, which Hazard is on the limit of doing, why not just allow it to happen? Fix it! By 2... Wow!
An aluminium on the exit of turn 1 has spun his car, and he's right on the racing line. So if anyone is starting a lap now, big drama.
Well, Hazard just span on the final corner as well. His teammate had to drive through him, as well as, I believe, Chan, who's just coming to the line.
Yeah, we've got Hazard. Yeah, Hazard in the final corner, right on that racing line.
Lando's not
got Ferrari coming now.
So Rainbow coming up to the line then. He's going to try and improve. Rwaggy can't improve. He stays P16. Here comes Rainbow then. Can he do it? He's gone P3. He was not my P3 prediction. I need Brownie now to improve and get himself up there. He has turned off his ERS. He is not... he might actually still go for another run here then, but he needs to turn it on now. And he's decided against it, so he's in.
We've got Chan on a decent lap here. He's around 2 tenths up right now, which is going to push him into P4, P5 territory, but he's got half the lap to go. I think he might have a little bit more left in the bag.
Hopping to the line. He goes P4. He's knocked his teammate down, and now Dennis goes P6. So something's working for him. You've got an Alpha coming, which is Kartak. He's decided to dip into the pits, and now here comes your boy, Chanakinchi.
Yeah. Again, in purple second sector. He's about 4 tenths up now coming through the final corner, so this is going to be super tight, actually. 5.16, good enough for P3. A storming lap. Yeah, he's pretty happy with that, actually. I'm just looking at his facial expression now. Big smile from him.
What we like to see. There's only really Danica then that needs to.
Yeah, Danica is
put a time
about 20 seconds down, so no threat of him. 1:35. a solid lap, but I don't think it'll get you anywhere near that top place.
37.7. I mean, he turned his ERS off. He wasn't really pushing on that lap. And I think that was wise. Hazard has actually done the right thing. I think it's lucky that he did have the spin when he did.
I think so, yeah.
He's going to have to stand the alternate strategy.
And he's not going to have a set of softs that have effectively done 3 laps.
Yeah, exactly. And then he'd had a spin on us like that same set as well, which would really have affected them. So realistically, if you're in his shoes, you go hards. Even if there's a safety car for the start, you don't pit, you stay out, you use the physical track position, and you go again later. But here is your rundown at the end of qualifying. It's Vexit getting pole position by 5 thousandths of a second as Bottas Gang puts himself P2 with Chanakinchi in P3. Rainbow P4, Copy P5, Danico in 6th place with Dennis in 7th. Very uncharacteristic, but still very well done by Dennis. Brownie P8, Aluminium P9, Spicy P10, Hazard getting best of the rest with Beaker in P12, Yonti P13, Katak 14, Azzy 15, Fred Joko 16th, and then the DQers, which was Lendos Milkman and Jacobo.
So that was a great prediction I had, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was much closer. I had Vexit and Bottas going 1 and 2. I didn't suspect that Chan was going to get P3. Although he is a very quick driver, his consistency is my concern, though.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, okay. So I'm looking at strategies right now. I am stream sniping them, and it looks like he's got himself set for a 2-stop. No, he's changed his mind. Sorry, ignore that. He's going for a 1-stop soft to hards.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right strategy. It's the best strategy. If anybody's even thinking about touching the mediums, they're making a mistake because the mediums just don't have that extra grip. They don't permit you to be so much faster that you could sit on those mediums and then still do a 2-stop. You know, the idea of going onto that medium tire is it is going to be a considerable amount faster than the hards so that you can make up enough time in comparison for a pit stop and then bring it out and back in again. But yeah, even the AWS Insights thinks that is probably the best strategy.
Well, generally I do the opposite of what Amazon tells me to do, and it seems to be alright. I mean, if I just stopped spinning, I'd probably win millions of league races.
Well, I mean, if you're turning your differential down instead of up, that would probably explain why you're spinning. But, you know, looking at the strategies, there are people who are not listening. They've gone for mediums, so they're realistically going for a 2-stop. It's Beaker, Inyonti, Landos Milman, and Jacobo who are going to be running those hard compound tires. I think that is... I think they're going to be in really high point scoring positions, providing they can avoid damage.
Yep, absolutely.
I also need to point out Beaker has got pedal issues as well. So Beaker's pedals, he's got a cable fault where it's triggering both of his pedals to go to 50% just randomly, but both pedals are activating at the exact same time. So he might have a little bit of a problem.
Yep. I mean, preparing his excuses for the turn 1 mess already. I like it. But yeah, Luca as well in the field. I missed that. So
he joined partway through.
Last onto the mediums. Let's just hope his game holds up for more than 1 lap, though. You know,
was it last week? I think he was like super unfortunate, wasn't he? And he had disconnects and game crashes and.
I think it's been every race he's had disconnects.
And he's fast, that's the thing. He has got skill and potential. He should be up here fighting with these guys, but I don't know. I'm assuming it's hardware related, as not everybody else is having the same issue. Or network related, one of the two. But, you know, I'm not here to diagnose his issues right now. We are here to talk about this Grand Prix. 36 laps of the Netherlands Zandvoort circuit. 1, 2, 3 for setting. Who you got?
Ooh. Vexit, Bottas, Gang, and Rainbow.
Well, the lights have gone out, but we're still sat here because the delayed start is here as normal. And there we go. Finally, we are away. Vexit's got a beautiful start. He's looking for a massive run up towards turn 1. He knows the importance of it. Bottas Gang gets the inside line, which is what he's trying to do. He's squeezing his car inside. He's going to be stuck on the outside for the next time, but he might have actually just about made it. Yes, he has. Bottas Gang making up for his qualifying and gets himself into P1.
Yeah, and it's super fine margins between them in qualifying. 7 thousandths. I'm not surprised at all. Oh, Luca losing the back end. He's back down to P20 after overtaking Verstappen.
Where has Vexit gone? Because he's
at the
having
back.
a
He's
lot of network
P20.
issues. Yeah, but he didn't even get rotated. He's just teleported back there. He's just purely having issues. And so has Danico as down he goes to P19. He's had contact. He's had a spin.
Still much with Dennis, yeah.
And not good for him. It's getting very tight and tense between those at the back of the field. I mean, looking at this from sort of P12 onwards, it's a Ferrari, it's P13 onwards, sorry. He's actually going side by side here with Kartak, who's making up ground for what he had in qualifying. He knew that these tyres would need to be active.
Luca coming around the outside. What an amazing move by Luca, taking advantage of those early periods where he's got the softer tyre and still waiting for those hards to warm up. He goes around the outside of Kartak and Jacobo. But Kartak got the overtake. Not quite ready to have another go, although he's going around the outside of turn 1. But Luca covers him off nicely.
He's got his teammate in tow as well, who's on the hard tyres, so he's just going to be looking to sit back and watch this all unfold. But if he sees a window of opportunity on his teammate, you know he's going to look for it and go for it. Back end step out from Jacobo. Lando's Milkman now. He's going to be trying to slip it down the inside if he can. It might have actually eased off a touch, but I think Jacobo had to burn overtake just to try and hold onto that position.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Bottas gang has managed to pull out almost a second now. In fact, he has pulled out a second now. That could be crucial. As you said, it is a pretty hard place to overtake if you don't have that DRS. The middle section is pretty much off limits, and he's got to take his move down into turn 1 or into that little chicane after the DRS zone. So if you're not within that second, you've got no hope.
And it looks like Luca's issues are plaguing him again because he's teleporting around a little bit. He's still on the circuit, at least for now. How long that will last for, I'm not sure. We'll keep an eye out on that, though, as Bottas gang has, like you said, got the gap over 1 second margin. We are on now lap 3, so the DRS is available. And it's a shame. Vexit, it has returned, it looks like.
Yeah.
He just is right away at the back.
Even bigger shame, yeah. Fastest lap, so clearly got the pace today. To go toe-to-toe with Bottas gang, I'm not sure if he has that real pace advantage required to make an overtake, but they seem very, very similar. And you know, as we saw in qualifying, he's coming up to the back of Danico, who's coming up to the back of Verstappen, so he's not too far out of it. And there is a spin. It's Jacobo. It's also caught Verstappen out, who's run wide onto the gravel. I just clocked Jacobo facing the wrong way after the downhill right-hander.
And Vexit, not only did he gain because of those two cars spinning out, he's also passed Danico's. I think he's been caught up in something as well that's what made him fall back. He just seems to be really struggling today, does Danico. Whereas Vexit, that's the one good thing that we can take from this is that we now get to see Vexit work his way through the field. Considering how much faster he was than them in the qualifying, this should be quite the spectacle.
And he's definitely going to be on a charge here. I mean, if this isn't going to motivate you, what is?
Yeah. I mean, his race looks like it's done, but I assure you it's not. This is just the nature of this circuit. He's probably not going to get the race win, but a podium is still well within sight here. Jacobo getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as well as having to replace his wing. His race is, in fact, done.
Yeah, and Danico as well, looks like. So, I didn't see any contact, but I guess there must have been. Danico onto the hards. I guess assuming or hoping that he can make it to the end. Jacobo not having the same faith, he's gone for the soft tyre. And that gap between Bottas gang and Rainbow continuing to grow, 1.6 now. I'm not sure if there's anyone that can stop him, apart from that man down in P17 currently.
Yeah, I mean, that in itself is a concern. That the only person who can get him is nowhere near him. Yeah. Because of how far back his network issues caused him to go. The Mercedes boys are actually having their own little scrappers. In fact, Brownie and Dennis, they've had a switch of positions. Brownie's gone down the inside in towards turn 1, and that is a position locked in for the Williams driver.
Exit. Getting much closer to Lando's Milkman now. 4/10. He's going to have to try something in the second sector if he wants to get past this lap, though. But you know, with the pace advantage and Lando's Milkman being on that hard tyre, I could see it happening. Could see some fireworks if he tries it in the wrong place.
I think Vexit is just too big a brain for that sort of situation. He can read these on quite a frequent basis where he doesn't have to worry about it necessarily. And I think, honestly, he will need to pit in the next sort of 2, maybe 3 laps. Because the soft tires here just, honestly, overheat an obscene amount. I'm looking now at his temps. Yes, both fronts well over 100 degrees. He's very much cooked here.
Not seeing them well over 100 degrees. I mean, I'm trying to really squint and...
They're not now, they're in the mid-90s, high 90s.
There we go then. Okay, I just thought you were a fraud for a second. But Chan going for Rainbow. And he makes the move down into Turn 1, down the inside.
Yeah, Rainbow's still here though.
Giving him the space. But yeah, obviously not dropping off the back. Rainbow kind of happy to bide his time, I think, although they are similar on levels of battery. Maybe we'll see it swap around again once they get to the DRS zone.
We also missed Vexit again, the move done on Lando's Milkman. It seemed to be quite a simple one. It was done on the home straight, but we have Luca who's looking for Fragioko. He's sticking his nose in. Fragioko got a little bit uncomfortable with that. Medium tires will start to take over shortly, but they won't last much longer than these softs.
Tell you what, I think I owe Dennis an apology here. I mean, it's early days, 6 laps in, but he's really, he's not out of place in that 7th place there. He's keeping up with them. Not quite in a position to maybe hassle them and make them worry, but he's staying within that DRS to Brownie.
I mean, for me, Dennis has always had that skill. He's always had that pace. My issue with Dennis has always been his consistency, and that's something he's always lacked. Whenever it's come into any sort of race, he's always made a mistake at some point, which has caused him to either lose control of the car, have a crash, or something along those lines that he needs to fix. Luca on the back. Fragioko still. Is he going to slip down the inside? A little bit of a contact there between him and Fragioko. He's going to have to try and make it around the exit on the long right-hander, I assume. He's going to get the cutback? No, he's decided to sit tight. I mean, he had a bit of a lockup there. That will cause him some issues. It is time to fill up and look at Vexit. Oh, Vexit! Oh, him and Kartak very nearly had a massive moment between the two of them. Vexit did manage to back out just in time, and Kartak gave him a little bit more room than he initially did do. But this is Vexit getting fired up, ready to go. Yakubo getting a 3-second time penalty to add to his already existing problems. He's in the pits. I wouldn't be surprised if that is a retirement in the pits. Yep, there it is. We may see a safety car potentially as a result of that, but it is only a yellow flag for now. Here comes Vexit on Kartak. He's going to have to dive it down the inside. You know he's going to. It's the right decision. Kartak...
Oh. How in the laws of physics not applying that?
Kartak must be desynced to Vexit.
Or Vexit's desynced to Kartak. I mean, we did see him have those huge network issues at the start of the game. Start of the race. And obviously desynced for me on my first session, but he seems to be alright now.
I mean, that's so unfortunate because it was a clean move. I think if Kartak hadn't have done what he did.
That's not how physics works, though.
No. Oh, we've also had Alfa Romeo off the track. Oh, that was Yakubo, sorry.
That's Yakubo. He's come halfway around the lap, as the game likes to keep people on its toes.
It's still a pretty large DRS train from P2 onwards. But Bottas gang 2.1 seconds ahead. I don't think Chan's going to be breaking that down anytime soon.
Yeah. Impressive Hazard, P8, staying just about in that DRS train. He's actually just fallen out of it, but on the medium tyre. So he's clearly doing something right. But Azia, as is becoming a bit of a regular occurrence, has lost the rear end coming into Sector 2. Coming into the DRS zone.
He's also lost all of his front wing, and a safety car has been called. So Vexit has
and
been
that
dealt.
Is huge news, yeah.
Yeah, he's been dealt a lifeline here. Massive lifeline.
And into the pits goes, well, goes everyone. Goes everyone. And this is bad news for the likes of Spicy.
And Brownie.
Oh, yeah, Spicy keeps going. Everyone onto that hard compound, as you would expect.
Yeah. I think Spicy, though, has made a mistake. Vexit's left the session.
Well, he's got time to come back. He's obviously still going to catch up. Although I think he's just actually... No, I thought he was going to get lapped by Spicy there, but...
It's a safety car, that is.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Well, I mean, I also have made the same mistake because they have, for whatever reason, made the safety car the exact same color as the Renault colors. So you just assume that it's the Renault that's out on the circuit. But no, it is, in fact, the safety car. Vexit, you still can rejoin, but he will only rejoin in P17. He will be much closer to the front of the grid, but certainly his strategy call is no longer in his favor.
Well, let's just remember that Spicy yet to pit. I mean, a huge mistake from him, I think. I mean, even with the double of the... I don't know what the word is. Double stack, there we go. He's still losing less time than he would have allowing the field to catch up, because he's gonna be about half a minute behind the field now.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, I'm also looking here to see how Bottas gets out of this now, because he's no longer 2 seconds up the field. He's very much in the field now. Beaker obviously decided he didn't want to pit. Yonti has decided he did want to pit. I think that's the big mistake. Pitting off of those hards, honestly, does not favour you. He's not getting any positions. He's P12. He's going to have to pit again because the mediums will not go to the end. I'm assuming he thinks the mediums will go far enough for him to be able to go into the softs. Let me tell you, they won't. And even when he does get onto the softs, he will be able to take the softs to the end. They're just going to be useless.
He may have 2 sets of mediums. A medium is, if it's played right, is a good strategy. But I just wonder if maybe 3 or 4 laps before, a medium I think would have been perfect. But seeing how many people elected to go for the hards, I seriously doubt that he's going to find 25 seconds by being on medium compound tires.
Well, I mean, that's part 1. Part 2 is, again, the pace and difference between the tires is pretty much minimal. There is hardly any improvement between the mediums and the hards. There's no way, even if the tires were like a second lap faster anyway, that would still be a challenge. But we're talking like 3 or 4 tenths. That's literally the difference.
Yeah, I mean, and with the nature of Zandvoort, it's going to be a DRS train for the foreseeable sort of 8 or 9, maybe 10 laps. Even if he's on the softs, he's not going to get his way to the front.
Well, safety car is in this lap, so we are going to be seeing Beaker control the restart of this Grand Prix. He's going to need to get those hards warmed up very quickly.
Yep. Although he has got a slight advantage, I guess, in that, you know, they have been worn down a little bit. They will be quicker to sort of heat up. It's the only sort of silver lining I can think of. But Bottas gang almost overtaking him. What the hell is Beaker doing? And that caused a 5-second penalty for Verstappen. And that could land Beaker in a bit of hot water. That was too slow, in my opinion. That was too slow.
Well, I don't think there's a rule that states how fast or slow they can be, but he has caused a lot of problems at the back. And there we go, Beaker's off.
Yeah, and there's a huge crash at the back. Luca spun around. 5 seconds penalty for him. And yeah, Azia on the final corner spun around, broken his wing. There certainly should be a safety car, but I don't think we'll get one with the nature of the game.
Well, Lando's Milton's having issues. We've also got Aluminium about to go for a send here on Copy. Copy's also looking towards Lando's Milton to see what he can deliver. Brownie's stuck on the inside. Copy's been sent out wide. He's going to lose 2 places. Dennis up back into P7. A little bit of a touch between Brownie and Yonti. Yonti's making his medium tires work, and he's into the top 10.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few words said about that restart. But, you know, we've got to carry on. But it's done its job in some ways. It's dropped a few people from the group. Brownie and Copy side by side.
Brownie went for a bit of a send down the inside there. I don't know how... I don't know if I would point a finger at anybody there. I think... to me, that looks like a racing incident. But, I mean, there's no damage, no impact.
In my mind, it's Pika. He just came too slow off that final corner.
Well, I meant the Brownie Copy moment, but
sorry.
I guess the restart was... I mean, that's the thing. I personally, I don't see any issues with how slow a restart can be. It is down to the drivers behind to make sure they don't cause a collision. Looking here for Gioco and Hazard. He had a little look down the inside, but not yet. Dennis and Yonti. Yonti's gone down the inside. He's got that position locked in. These mediums are working quite nicely for him for now. Let's see if he can silence me, as Beaker is becoming under threat here from Bottas Gang. Chan is actually dropping pace away from these two. 7/10 is the gap. Rainbow hanging in there as Kartak and Spicy swap places.
Yeah, I mean, if Beaker can save his energy and deploy it in the right places, he's going to be pretty hard to pass. I don't think the DRS has kicked in just yet. I think we're waiting another lap for that, but
Yep.
until then, I think Bottas Guy's just going to have to be a little bit patient because trying something through that middle sector is it's
Oh
just too
no!
risky.
Fragio goes out of spin in sector 2. Lucky for ghosting, otherwise that would have been a severe crash there between Verstappen, who's already had an issue or two in this Grand Prix, and qualifying. Danica and Kartak swap places. Kartak looks to be all kinds of shapes, except the right one.
And when did Vexit retire? Very unprofessional here, but I didn't notice that he retired.
I also didn't notice he retired. I'm not sure what happened.
Sorry, Vexit. Missed that one, mate.
It must have been a voluntary one, because I don't remember it being anything more than that.
I remember him leaving during the safety car period and then rejoining, but yeah, I guess he might have got caught up by what happened at the back. He was at the back of the field, so Kartak in the pits. That's a new wing for him.
Yeah.
And some soft tyres. Not quite sure what the plan is there. He's already been on his soft, so he doesn't have to go to that compound.
Now, the fact that the DRS has been enabled will now start to bring Beaker under attack. It will also then start to commence his drop down the grid, because obviously everyone behind him are on newer hards, except for Lando's Milton. Much newer hards, so they should start to feel that extra bit of pace as they come into it. Right, already on the final 2 corners, Bottas Gang is on the back of Beaker. ERS has been turned on to overtake. Beaker had a little look on the inside to defend himself, but I think realistically, it's going to have to be a late break here from Beaker coming in towards turn 1. He knows what he's got to do. It's Bottas going around the outside of turn 1. He can get the momentum through the corner and bring himself back into race lead.
Yeah, do you know what? Beaker did everything right there. Absolutely perfect. It's just a case of Bottas Gang having that extra grip from the newer tyres. Absolutely squeezing in the right places.
I mean, they both gave each other the respect as well. That's the best part about it. They gave each other the space and no contact between them, despite how fast that corner actually is.
Yeah, I mean, to quote Murray Walker, you could have put a cigarette paper between the 2 wheels, but yeah, no contact. I'm not sure what happened to Hazard there. Obviously not. Oh, we've had a spin. It's Yonti.
Yeah. I don't think that was a tyre to blame. I think that was a mistake made from Yonti that's caused that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a shame because, you know, the pressure was on him to really, really put in those lap times. He was trying that risky 2-stop and, well, obviously that is completely out the window now, but no front wing damage that I can see. So if there's
Just
another
dignity.
safety car. Yeah, just dignity, yeah, absolutely.
Chan's up now to P2.
Yeah.
Beaker passed on the home straight due to the DRS and tow. It was much easier for Chan this time. He'd already done it by the time we made it even to turn 1's braking zone. And Beaker has dropped now to P3 with Rainbow hot on his heels.
Yeah, not entirely sure whether Rainbow's gonna wait for this one. He seems very, very close to the back of him. Looks like he will stay patient for the time being. Although Beaker isn't really that slow.
No.
Think about it. No, he doesn't seem that out of place. But obviously the fact he's still got to pit is gonna screw him slightly.
Well, I disagree. Only because
Okay.
he will be on the soft compound tyres later, which the difference between the softs and the hards is ridiculous. There is a really, really fast tyre around the circuit, but the tyre obviously is so much worse than the hard tyres that, yeah, you've got a very small window to make that work. Here comes Rainbow.
Yeah. Rainbow, I think this is going to be... He's even taking his overtake off. I'm not sure
That's a mistake.
what his... Yeah.
That's a mistake. Oh, there's contact.
That was a little bit ridiculous from Rainbow. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what he was trying to do. He only used enough overtake to get his rear wheel alongside him, so... Don't know.
Yeah, I think it was an unnecessary situation. He didn't have to be there
Absolutely.
fighting Beaker. He could have just used a little bit more ERS, or even he also there was a couple of things. He didn't use ERS. He also barely even used the toe of Beaker on the home straight. It was he wanted to go side by side into turn 1. Clearly,
Wanted to take him out. Are you suggesting?
I said side by side. I didn't say take him out. Okay, if you want to put words in my mouth, that's down to you.
Saying you deliberately took him out, man. That's very unprofessional.
I'm calling it. Rainbow wanted to pin a Rainbow on the side of
Beaker's struggling, but one person that isn't struggling is the man behind him, Lando's Milkman. He has the sound bug on my end, so I don't want to ride on board with him for that long. But he is doing a really good job on these hards.
Yeah. I feel Beaker did lose a lot of time for that nudge between him and Rainbow. Obviously, no damage on Beaker's car, which is the positive side of it. Luca has retired from the session. That it is a stuck car, so it looks like an actual crash, and we've got a virtual safety car.
And it's not really come at the right place for anyone to actually take advantage of.
Maybe car attack, and Hazard.
But then again, they've just pit, so they're really just going to put themselves further behind. Unfortunate for some. Very fortunate for the man who's currently in P1 though, Bottas gang. And you know, if it's timed correctly, you can sort of gain 5, maybe 7 tenths compared to others. Depends on how fine you want to cut it, but you know, obviously if you're like even a millisecond over that delta, it's a drive-through penalty. It's really severe.
Yep.
We're back.
DRS re-enabled. We're off going.
Well, Chan has taken advantage. He's got himself to 1.1 second within Bottas gang. And that, he's below a second now. He's blown this race wide open.
Yep. Mistake, I think, made from Bottas gang. Chan capitalized on that perfectly. He's also covered himself off from Rainbow, so this is purely now his management of ERS, his management of DRS, and it's, I mean, he's not really gained as much as I thought he would on the home straight.
He might have gained something in terms of battery compared to Bottas gang. He is doing a lot better.
Oh, Beaker.
Oh,
that's a turn 1 mistake.
That's the problem. Not sure if there was any damage. Yeah.
His race was so good for him as well. He could very much done well in this Grand Prix if he'd have just been able to keep himself out of trouble. I don't know, again, if that was his fault or if he got touched. But a mistake that will cost him quite severely.
Yeah, that's a shame. Verstappen retiring in the pits as well. And the gap seemed to be stabilizing. Chan now back up to 1.3, 1.2. Rainbow pretty similar. So just wait for one of these guys to make a mistake. Give each other an opportunity. But they seem pretty equal right now.
I think Lando's Milkman took my advice from last week, and I think he's really run with it a little bit here.
He's gonna straight up take credit for someone's P4 performance.
No, I mean he has to have skill in the first place to do it. As hold that thought, because Aluminium just cruises on by in towards turn 1. I mean, he was saying himself, Lando's Milkman, he was really struggling with the back end of the car. I told him about the diff, and he immediately went into time trial, came back again, told me he improved. I think it was like 4 or 5 tenths.
B-Cat retiring in the pits. That's a shame. It was a good run from him. I think as we so often see, he tries these reverse strategies. They look really promising, and then it just doesn't quite. Something happens to him, and you know, big shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. He was looking so good for getting a really good point scoring position. I'm hoping, to be honest, it was just his pedals, because that would have meant that it wasn't a mistake on his part. It wasn't a mistake from anybody else on the track. And then it's just a technical fault, but either way, he's not going to be happy, that's for sure.
I'm so impressed with Dennis. He is right on Brownie right now, and that is one of the least likely things I would have predicted before this race. He's doing an absolutely amazing job. Net P6 right now, of course, because Lando's Milkman does still have to pit.
Yep. I'm going to ask you if you've ever heard of a thing called Commentator's Curse.
I have indeed. It does not exist, because Lando would have immediately spun when you said, you know, I told him about the diff in your best northern accent.
Danica actually just went around the outside of Spicy through turn 1. He's on so much older hards, and he just made that work with ease. He has, however, lost a large amount of time on that long left-hander. And that's allowed Spicy to get right back in the gearbox of him, and fight resumes.
Yeah. So technically, Danico doesn't have to pit. He pitted lap 3, I want to say, for the hards. He's done a good job to get himself back to P9. Obviously, the safety cars helped him. But really, you're trying to tell me you're going to take these tires 26 laps?
It's a risk.
26
It's a big
laps.
risk.
Yeah.
I think it's doable though. It's definitely.
Sorry, no, 31 laps.
Who are we about here? 31.
Danico. 31 laps he has to take those tires.
Yeah, that's going to be a. They're going to be bold.
Punk town, population U.
Yeah. Spicy's also left his ERS mode on full. And he burnt everything. He was on 0% by the time we got to turn 1. So, yeah, he's... Something is not working for him here in Zandvoort. He's going to have to figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think they've just released it in an update that you can hold it down to use the overtake. And that's something
That's right.
I might try.
Came out today.
Yeah, I've been guilty of sort of forgetting, leaving it on accidentally.
Yeah.
Although it's much better than it was last year. You don't have to constantly flick through ERS modes and fuel modes now.
Yeah, I mean, you had to press it 5 or 6 times through each corner, and that was depending on what mode you were in. You know, that it's so much better now to just be a push, let's go, push again to turn it off. And now it's push and hold and just let go whenever you're done. So it's even better than it could ever have been. We're nearing back to the Curse territory of the older games, if you can remember those. But you know, the technology is different, and the difference also is you will run out of battery here, whereas you never did in those games.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously with the Curtis, your battery would just miraculously come back at the start of the next lap.
Full charge.
Yeah, long-term consequences these days, and you know, it's a skill in itself. I sometimes rewatch league races. I know this is very sad, from like F1 2018 or 2017, and I just used to leave my ERS on overtake for about 3 laps. It's like screaming at the screen, sort it out. But yeah.
I mean, I don't remember my league races from back then. I was much worse than I am now, and that's saying something.
Yeah, same.
So and I could never understood the ERS modes back then. Even in 2019, it took me a little while into 2019 before I finally clicked. This is how you use ERS.
Still watching this battle between, well, for P5, Landers, Milkman, Brownie, and Dennis. Copy actually coming into this as well. Landers Milkman's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he's still in the position he is. I really don't.
He's a god. And he's listened to the Rwaggy's advice. That's what it is.
Well, exactly. It must be the differential. It 100% is your advice. Nothing else.
So I'm going to start a new coaching school, Rwaggy's driving skills. It's going to be 50 quid an hour. £10 per
Yeah,
tip.
mate. Just split the diff on 100, yeah?
Not quite 100. I think I went 90 on this circuit.
Okay. I use 50 for everything.
Yeah, and you spin every race, so
No,
says a
I
lot, doesn't
don't.
it?
I don't spin in Monaco.
I mean, it's hard to spin in Monaco.
What's your point?
I suppose there are actually a couple of corners that it's pretty easy to spin. But lap 23 of 36. This Grand Prix is far from over, and we are about to see, I think in about 3, maybe 4 more laps, Lando's Milkman, the only driver to take the hards right the way to the point he's in already. Obviously, Danico is going to have to go that length and further if he wants to take those to the end. But I think both me and you have a pretty confident, educated guess. He's going to be having a puncture at some point in this Grand Prix if he does.
Yeah. I think he might just be chancing it for a second safety car. I don't know. Well, I do know. Yeah. Car attack. Potentially, yeah. I mean, maybe, but...
He's been struggling this Grand Prix, hasn't he?
Hasn't really got anything, yeah. I think he's just sort of chilling right now.
Okay, well, I mean, as is, it's Bottas gang leading. Chan was in that DRS range earlier, but he's just sort of sat on the limit. I don't know if Bottas gang is managing it or if Chan is struggling to break it down, but Lando's Milkman, who has done a very good job of staying in the DRS range of Aluminium ahead, is teetering on that limit. 9/10 is where we sit right now. He needs to stay under the 1 second to maintain DRS. Danico getting a 3-second time penalty. That might be his tyres giving in. We'll see later on.
Well, he's been teetering for a few laps now. It's about 3 or 4. Brody has a go, dives down the inside. They both lock up, but I think he got enough alongside him. But Lando's Milkman gets the better exit around the outside. But wow,
Yeah.
Brownie just has, I don't know what happened there. More confidence maybe coming into that turn.
Yeah.
Well.
I think a mistake was made there from Brownie, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have gone for that move, because now he's quite considerably outside of the DRS. Whereas Lando's Milkman was on the limit. Yes, I think Brownie had to make a move, but he needed to use more resources than what he did.
I'm not sure. I think he's done well in the sense that he's got a wedge now between him and Dennis Wedges. That was not poetry, although I saw an opportunity to took it.
Dennis!
But there goes Dennis!
Oh!
I was talking about it, yeah. I mean, that's not going to do him any good at all.
No, I mean, he locked up hard there as well.
Although, yeah, the one silver lining is that Landis Wilkins lost the DRS. It should be an easy pass now, although he's running low on battery and he's in the pits anyway.
Yep. Right on
Copy.
cue.
Ever quiet, ever boring. Not boring, but, you know,
Carlos Sainz,
flying under the radar. He's P7 now, and not a million of miles away from a P5 or maybe even a P4.
I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Copy is the Carlos Sainz of the esports world. He is the guy who never gets any screen time because he just turns up week on week. He delivers a solid performance. He's clean and consistent. He's never involved in incidents that he's caused, at least. And he always jumps people because he doesn't get these penalties. You know, it'd be nice to see him get some flashy overtakes. Today is potentially that day. Dennis is in the DRS range of Copy. Copy's coming for him, whereas Dennis is not quite in that DRS range of Brownie.
Landers Milkman on this brand new soft tyre. Coming up to Fragioco, P10. It's got the DRS down. It should be a pretty simple move. You'd hope so, but he's not getting close enough there. Not sure quite what happened there. I would have put my house on him passing him there.
I think it was he didn't want to he didn't want to use too much overtake so that he didn't have enough to do anything after that. He's obviously using it now, but he's not quite using enough. Look, this is the problem we got with Lando's Milkman now. He's being too conservative.
Closing too late, you know, so you can't get the clean overtake, and now he's going to have another middle section of this lap stuck behind Fragioco.
This isn't necessarily a bad thing, though.
He gets a really good exit, actually. He's alongside, and I think Fragioco, if he's got any sense about him, which he clearly hasn't, didn't let him go. But it doesn't matter, because around the outside, Lando's Milkman, super sticky brand new soft tyres, you know, made it look easy.
I think him being stuck behind Fragioco has kind of helped Lando's Milkman slightly, just so he can have an extra lap in those tyres where he's not really burnt them all out. However, he needs to stop being so sparing with the overtake. He's holding on to too much. When you're going for an overtake, you want to burn a good amount so you've got that extra momentum so you can be confident and say, I'm going into turn 1, I've got my car ahead of him, I don't have to worry about anybody else now. But he does have a 7.7 second gap to Yonti. It was, I believe, 8.1 when he made the pass on Fragioco. So he's definitely making motions.
Yes, but, you know, he's running out of time. He's got 8 laps. If he can do a second a lap, he can get himself up to Yonti. He gets himself up to Yonti. He's got a shot at Spicy. I think, realistically, we're looking at P8 as a maximum for Landers Milkman right now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the hard tyres are going to start to drop now. Obviously, Danica, he had to come in. He didn't really have any other solution, so he's gone to the soft, but he's also in a I'm not quite in a point scoring position as it stands. Yonti is very far in on these mediums. I'm pretty certain they're going to pop anytime soon.
Yeah. Kartak depriving anyone in the top 10 of that extra point unless Lando's Milkman can put it in. Probably, I imagine he could. But, well, we'll have to see how conservative he drives, I guess. But, you know, it's what it is. Yonti still needing to pit, I think. Although, no, doesn't need to pit.
No.
I assumed he was when he went for that medium, but seems to be okay.
From a regulation perspective, I don't think he has. Well, I know he doesn't have to pit. From a will my tires explode and kill me perspective, I'm pretty certain he has to pit.
Yeah.
This surely only spells death. That's the only way I can see this coming out, is in being out of this Grand Prix because his tire's gone pop, he goes into a wall, and off goes his front and rear wheels.
Well, I'm going to maybe shock you here because he's just set a personal best first sector. Although, maybe take that with a pinch of salt because it is F1 2020. But the game said he did a green first sector there.
Well, we shall see whether or not he
slams into a wall at 150 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, we've got another 7 laps if you include the one that they're on right now, and this is the point. That's going to be taking those mediums further than most of these other drivers. I don't like this idea. I think this is bad news bears for Yonti.
Yes. Only he knows, to be fair. He may be, you know, the most comfortable, relaxed guy in the world right now. It probably is, because he's finished. Lando's Milkman, word of him, still that 1 second. He has to maintain this pace. And to quote Amazon, striking distance, I think, is in 6 laps. You know, we've got 6 laps left in the race, so it could be a last lap bit of excitement, but he has to maintain what he's doing right now. If anything, build on it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Lando's Milkman to... Because he's not only is he going to be able to be in striking distance at that point, he also has to then get the move done at that point. I think there's been a fair few penalties for the drivers ahead. I'm expecting Copy to just bounce up the field, if I'm being truthfully honest.
I'll give you a rundown, actually.
Go on then, let's have it.
So, Jacobo he's already out, right? No, it's Jacobo's already out, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, so...
Well, you do the counting, because Danico is getting ready to attack Fragioco on the home straight. He hasn't got a lot of VRS to work with. In fact, he's already pretty much burned that out. He's not going to be able to attack it into turn 1, but he may be able to do what we saw Lando's Milkman do earlier on Fragioco, which is in that long bit up towards Sector 2. Is maybe a chance for him to get alongside it. Unless he goes for an inside here. He's going wide here, so he should hopefully get the cutback of Dreams, but he can't quite get it, but he's definitely got a better exit. This is where Fragioco got overtaken before from Lando's Milkman. Is Danico going to try the outside line, or is he going to expect Fragioco to run deep? He almost ran into the back of him there. It's a patient run here from Danico, not quite going for any sends. And yeah, you feel now Danico realizes I didn't play the strategy game right here at all, and now I'm not getting any points whatsoever.
Well, his turn 1, was it turn 1? His first lap spin obviously did not help his cause.
Yeah.
Neither did the 3-second time penalty picked up, but Fragioco, caught up in that messy safety car restart, picked up 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. Yonti has 3 seconds, Hazard has 6 seconds, and Dennis, unfortunately, has 3 seconds as well.
We know Copy's gaining an position, at least. We'll see how that goes down later as Danico is now taking the outside line in towards turn 1. This is not the favourable one you want to be in here. Fragioco, though, has lost out due to the grip of tyre difference is heavily favoured towards Danico. But now you can see, just what I was talking about, where the soft tyres do not last long here at all. Lando's Milkman's pace has just suddenly paused. He can't improve now. He's sat P10. He will, if he can get into 3-second margin on Yonti, but that's it.
A potential little bit of something coming up. Chanakinchi's front left tyre is at 68% right now.
Ooh.
And with 4 laps to go, that could well be pushing itself up into puncture territory.
I want to know what Yonti's tires are. They must be so worn down. I'm honestly just expecting a pop any second now, especially coming through the long right-hander before Sector 2. That's going to be the crucial zone where I think it is just going to explode at that point.
We'll see, but, you know, what other option has he got at the moment?
At
You've
the
got to
moment,
tough
no.
it out.
Yeah.
If you pit, you don't get anything. If you stay out and don't get a puncture, you don't get anything. So you don't.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to try it.
Is at this point now where he's made his bed, he's got to lay in it. I think.
It doesn't look like he's fallen off a cliff or anything. He's not. Doesn't look like he's immensely struggling for grip or anything like that. 2 tenths down in that first sector, but it looks like he's pretty comfortable in what he's doing. But I'm in shock he hasn't punctured already, to be honest.
Same.
I don't understand it.
Clearly, he knew something coming into this race that we didn't, but it wasn't enough for him to get into a high point scoring position. I still firmly believe he made the mistake of boxing when he did.
If Chan Akinci is now on 72%, what the hell is Yonti on?
Yeah. I mean, it also, I guess, comes down to how well they've been driving, their setup as well. You know, there are still other factors that do make a difference to the tyre wear percentage. I mean, for all we know, Chan could be running higher tyre pressures, which we know generates higher temperatures, which also then generates higher tyre wear, whereas Yonti could be on the lowest pressures going and also have his differential set through the roof, and maybe on a less aggressive setup. Who knows? Only he knows, really.
Only he knows. What I would give to actually see the status of his tires right now.
Yeah, same.
I mean, Eagle Eye Dave, the front left is at 110, 111.
Yeah, those tires are not going to be very nice.
It's pretty high. And we are seeing Chan starting to fall off this cliff now. He's 2.1 seconds down to Bottasgang. He started losing a fair bit of time, and he's been equal to Bottasgang for most of this race now. But we are seeing Rainbow just starting to close up, almost within a second. And the way I see it...
Well, there it is. He's in it now. But on top of that, we are literally about to come on to the final lap. Obviously, Bottasgang is our race leader. And somehow, actually, Chan has just closed in dramatically. I don't know if Bottasgang just took his foot off the gas because he knows the gap is substantial, or whether or not Chan has just unleashed everything, because he is on 8% ERS, and that's after a braking zone. Rainbow is not much better than that, but he is within that DRS range. Has he just clipped the... Yes, he has. He's got DRS here. This should help him close in a little bit, but he's going to need to dump that and more to be in with a shot of getting him on the home straight, because if other than that, it's going to be as is.
So 77 for Chan on that front left. He's still got 1.3 laps of fuel to go on his fuel delta. Not really keen on pushing that engine though. He seems to spend most of the lap in lean. But he's going to need to deploy that rich now because 8 tenths behind is Rainbow. Although they are both looking equally shocking on their battery deployment.
Yeah.
That's this guy actually. They all seem to be actually pushing, which is quite surprising.
I think Bottasgang saw the time drop between him and Chan and was like, oh, I better go. And
well, he hasn't recovered that time either. It's still 1.5. So maybe Bottasgang's in just as much trouble.
Chan's about to pop. I can feel it. The way he's driving, it looks like his tyres are ready to give in.
They've been ready to give in for a couple of laps now, but Rainbow's going to have a chance. He's got a DRS zone.
Oh, bit of a lock-up there from Rainbow. This might be a problem. No overtake from him, surely. Bottasgang looks like he's going to be the race winner. Is Rainbow going to get desperate into the final corner because that gap is coming down dramatically? He should hopefully get the better exit here.
No, he doesn't. But he's going to get better drive through this penultimate corner. But it's not going to be enough. Use all your overtake. Tuck in behind that rear wing, but Chan does enough to hold on. Avoids a puncture. Good job by him.
Oh, Yonti's actually about to lose out to Lando's Milkman due to the penalty that he has accrued in this Grand Prix. His copy jumps up to P6. Spice then coming to the line with Yonti following him down. A fair play to him. 27 laps on those mediums. It won't be enough to stop him from dropping to P10. It is still a point scoring position as Danica comes home in P11. Fragioka will take P12. Hazard P13. And a little while back is Kartak in P14.
And a couple of penalties to his name as well, so he's going to drop even further back. But you know, nothing to be lost from him. But no idea, no words for 27 laps on the medium tire.
I mean,
no words.
Chan tried it on the hards, and he was like, "Oh, I'm about to pop," kind of territory. Yonti was just cruising, and he was still doing really quick lap times on medium tires. So,
and I tell you, even Brownie, who is, you know, he's Mr. Consistent, Mr. You know, just take a little bit of the tyre this corner, you know, rationing it out. He was on 71, so RNG gods, he must have been at least 80 something, Yonti. I don't even want to think about it.
I would love to know what tyres he was on. Hopefully we'll find out soon from Yonti, but this is your podium here for tonight. It is Bottas Gang who gets himself on pole position and the win. Oh, sorry, he didn't get pole. Sorry, he got P2, didn't he? He then passed Vexit very quickly in towards turn 1 and then carried that on to get the win despite the safety car coming out. And yeah, nice and simple. Pretty happy with that. Rundown then at the end of that Grand Prix is as follows. Bottas Gang getting the win, Chanda Kimchi getting P2, and Rainbow getting the third step of the podium. Aluminium gets P4 with Brownie in P5, Copy P6, Dennis in P7, Spicy P8, Lando's Milkman P9, Yonti getting the final point due to his penalty. Danico gets the best of the rest award, but no points for him. Fragioka P12 has a P13, and Kartak being the only other finisher, and he did get the fastest lap of the session, so nobody in the top 10 will be getting the extra point. And then your DNFs are Beaker, Verstappen, Luca, Azia, Vexit, and Jacobo. Leaves me with the final question then, Fosse. Who is your driver of the day?
Well, before I tell you that, I gotta tell you there's 81% on the front tire, front left for Yonti. But my driver of the day, that's a really tough one actually. My driver of the day is gonna be Bottas Gang.
Yeah.
I mean the way he just made it look quite easy. He was fast where he needed to be, and you know he always just seemed to be in control and one step ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was going to give it to Yonti, but the penalty is what pushed me away from it. I think Yonti did do a fantastic job to manage those mediums to go as far as he did, and he had to drive literally perfect in order to manage the tyre wear, but still only 1 point because of the fact that he made that strategy decision. I think that ultimately cost him. I think he could probably have been in that podium, or at least P4. But still, you know, yeah, Bottas Gang, in my opinion, driver of the day, he absolutely nailed it. From the word go, he got just as good an exit as Vexit did, but he did get the inside line in towards turn 1, and that allowed him to then run away and just control his Grand Prix from there on out. And that's it for the European Racing Series Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. I've been Ben Rwaggy McConnell, and joining me has been David Fossett Time Tate. Thank you as always, David. You are awesome. And we'll see you next week for Spain.